Okay, first step, you already know. We're going to tape it down nice and straight. At this point, maybe it's already becoming a little bit of second nature for you, which is a good thing. The more we practice. And then we'll set up our border and title block. So 1/4 inch on each side and a 1/2 inch up for the title block. 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch. And then we'll lay out our title block area. 4, 3, 2, 1.5. So again, like with all of our drawings, we're just going to start laying out an overall bounding box for our front view. So I'm just going to put a guideline out and a guideline up and just say, okay, I have an overall length of 6, which I was a little short on, but that's okay. And an overall height of 2. So I'm just kind of making that overall bounding box for the shape, and then I can go carve out the different parts or pieces of it. So that would be my front view. So now I need to establish, okay, how far over is this feature, and then where does this part, this is the dovetail, it's based off of a dovetail joint, and this is 4 inches over, so I'm just going to measure over 4, and while I'm here, I'm also going to measure how far up this little piece goes, which it's 1 inch. So while I already have my ruler in my hand, I'm just going to make a mark at 1, go over, and a line up at that 4. Always using my tools to do it. So this will be empty space in my drawing, but I'm just going to leave at least this little corner part here because that is where my miter line is going to come off of. So I'll erase part of these lines since they're guides, but I'll just leave some of that there just so I kind of have that point to reference for when I do my miter joint. Just like with that chamfer block we did in the last video, while this surface is inclined, it does have a slope to it. In the front view, I can't necessarily see what that slope is. So I like to kind of describe it as if I was looking at Google Maps and maybe I'm looking at like a theme park on Google Maps. I can't see the ups and downs necessarily on like a roller coaster. But that doesn't mean they're not there. It just means from that one particular shot, from that one view, we can't see them. So now we'll start with our top view. So we want to pick a place on our sheet to start. Project these lines up. So anywhere I have that vertical line in my front view, it gets projected to be the depth in my top. I have an overall depth of 3 inches. So I'll make a little mark at 3. Draw a line across. And now, again, kind of referring to what I was talking about with inclined surfaces in that previous video, I don't necessarily know what the angle is on these. What I do know is that it starts all the way out here, that this whole edge is 3, and then this edge is 1, and it's 1 inch in on each of those sides. So what I can do then is take where it ends here, make a mark at 1 inch on either side, and now I know where the line starts and where it ends, and while I don't necessarily know the angle, I can just connect the dots. So I'm just lining up some type of straight edge. In this case, I'm using my ruler. You could use your triangle if you want to. And I'm just lining up where it starts, where it ends, and connecting the dots. And I'll just get rid of some of those lines. Now for my side view, I need my miter line. So 45 degrees from where the top and right lines meet, which is right here. Why I didn't get rid of that guide. And then I'm just going to line my T-square up with where that would hit. I'm trying to leave a little space just because my pencil's getting dull, which means it's going to leave some bigger marks. I just need to sharpen it, but I'll wait till the last video to do that. I'm just kind of marking where it hits. Some guidelines across. And then where it hits that miter line, I'll project guidelines down. So again, your guideline should always be very light. I do mine a little darker than I recommend you do yours, just because otherwise they're not going to get picked up on the camera. So now I've got this little grid for my side view, and I need to figure out how it's going to look for here. So it's going to look again similar to some of the other blocks we've done, much like this one. These blocks are very similar to each other. It's just instead of this being 3, this is 4. But again, if I'm looking at the side view, I can't see anything involving that length. So in the side view, I wouldn't even know the difference between those. And then instead of this being flat, it just comes in on an angle here. So if we think back to what this one looked like, it was just completely flat up here on this top face, which I erased way more than I needed to, which it is on this guy. It does just look flat. Erase kind of this line here. I didn't want to erase it. However, we need to show that there is behind this feature, there's that edge in there and that edge in there. So what do we need to do to show features that we can't see in a particular view? We need to make them into a hidden line. So again, I'm going to line up my tool. And erase in some of those dots. Always making sure that I'm leaving at least a little bit of connection where it's meeting another edge. Let me just get rid of a little bit there, because that'll help show that there are edges back here that just can't be seen from that side view. And then finally, I'd get rid of my miter line, fill in my title block, and this guy is good to go. This one is called the Dovetail Block. And then in the next space, you'll put your name, the date that you drew this on, the scale, which again is 1:1, so we drew this full size on paper. 1 inch on paper is 1 inch in real life. And then how many drawings are associated with this block. So this is drawing 1 of 1.